Hey guys, what's up? This is Lee Singletary reporting for Entertainment University. We're currently hanging out in Nesbitt Auditorium awaiting a very special presentation featuring, wait for it, Grammy Award-winning hip-hop artist Lupe Fiasco, as well as critically acclaimed author Mike Dyson. Let's check it out.
Here, most deaf. Some people think about ass so fat you can see it from the front. Now that is a phenomenology that needs to be densed. Shall we contemplate the gluteus maximus? But he also said it's only right that I was born to use mics. Nope, that's Nas. What did he say? He said in that same album, you can laugh and criticize Michael Jackson if you wanna. Woody Allen molested and married his stepdaughter. Same press kicking dirt on Michael's name show Woody and Sonya at this playoff game holding hands. Now sit back and think about that. Would he get the same dap if his name was Woody Black? Is it fair? Is it equal? Is it just? Is it right? Do we do the same thing if the defendant's face is white? White boys doing it well as success. I start doing it well as suspect. They say they want you successful, but then they make it stressful. You start keeping pace, they start changing up the tempo. And so what Mos Def wants us to see here is to understand the means by which we have been seduced into complicity with our own pathology and the own worst elements that constitute our reality, but at the same time, speak about the political reality that so many of these young people confront. So hip-hop at its best has always understood the need for what Gramsci calls organic intellectuals. We have one of these organic intellectuals sitting up on the pulpit and the podium with us today.
Check 1, 2. I was given this sheet from Gary. And Gary writes. It says, it would be wonderful if Lupe, me, could offer some sort of self-reflexive critique of his own musical output in relation to the music industry. And then he goes on to say, this could be achieved in a number of ways. Firstly, I go into it with a 50-50 kind of ideal, and I always did this. I always look at music as an objective, subjective thing, and my approach to it has always been 50-50. I'm going to give you my 50, and then you're going to give me your 50, you know. But you can't tell me how to do my 50, you know. And it's something that people thought Kick Push was about selling dope. You know, it's like you kicking, pushing dope. You know? And you had the gangsters like, yeah, I rock with that because I know what you really talking about. And, you know, it's a subjective thing that's open to interpretation. So whenever I approach a song or I approach, you know, making a piece of music, always know that it's half finished. No matter how much I put into it, no matter how much I get the metaphors and the triple entendres and, you know, all the little neat, you know, tricks of the trade in there and how much I'm impressed with it and how much the flow is there and the cadence and everything, it's never finished because it's up to it's how it's accepted, how it's absorbed by the audience and how people take with it and run with it. And the meaning that they extract from it. You know, people ask me about, well, what do you think about all the negativity in hip hop, and what do you think about this? And you know, I was like, but it's you. You know, you're reacting to it in a certain way. When you're reacting to it, you're supporting it. You know, so it's on the public. The artist only comes halfway. You know, you have to come the other half with it. So a lot of the negativity in hip hop is a reaction to the world wanting that negativity. Yeah, like we all, on some base level, enjoy the negativity. You know, we give it, we let it entertain us because it actually genuinely entertains us. The traditional record company, record contract, you put out an album, get a couple pennies on the dollar, and then you go off and tour and make millions, doesn't exist anymore. You know, and that's a reaction of the record companies noticing the drop in the sales. you know, from the traditional record sales, or so they say. You know, I think it's all a bunch of bullshit, but. So they implemented this 360 system, you know, which is damn near illegal, you know, and they put it on me. You know, I got the conversation where it was, you know, Lupe, we know you don't have a 360 deal, but we're gonna need you to sign it. And if you don't sign it, we may or may not promote your album. You know, we're gonna put priority in the artists who are under 360 deals. You know, and so that's why you get a 3-year gap. We want you to do what we want you to do, or you're not doing anything. You know, you can put out, you can try, but your album's not coming out. You know, so that's how the music industry directly controls the means of artistic production. You know, by putting the kibosh on any type of independent move that you try to do. And I mean, they will go out of their way to shut you down. You know, so you have to be very careful in this day and age of the music business.
I'd like to ask if you think the hip-hop album is a dying format, since people are not buying albums as they used to. They're more flocking to singles. Waka Flocka will sell a lot on a single. Flo Rida will sell a lot on a single. Are you pressured to do Nothing on You with Bruno Mars, song with JR Get Money, to get sales for a single, or to possibly dump a concept for an album just so you can get a single?
I'm still kind of researching that whole not selling albums like we used to, because that's a weapon that they use against us. My record company told me that the Cool wasn't a success. And I was like, yo, I had 1 million singles, and my album sold like 600,000-700,000 copies, right? We got 4 Grammy nominations. And that's just a tangible, you know, universal kind of respected thing, SoundScan and Grammy and what have you. And it's like, that's not a success. I'm like, huh? You know, I always kind of take that with a grain of salt, because I know that's a success. I know that I sold records, you know. I know I was on tour for 2.5 years, you know. So I always take that, you know, if the album's not selling like they used to, this isn't successful, because they're always comparing it to somebody else. You know, they're comparing it to Taylor Swift. Honestly, you need to sell 1 million records in a week. It's like, yo, my man, come on. You know, you look at Kanye selling 500,000, you look at Lloyd Banks selling 44,000. Is Lloyd Banks a failure? Because he sold 50,000 CDs? He didn't sell as many as Kanye West, but is that the competition now? And I think that competition spilled over from, because those are just internal things. You know, SoundScan was an internal thing. You can't even look at SoundScan. You know, you can't look at BDS. You got to have a password, and you got to be like a member and sign in. You can't even see it, right? So that was all internal tracking things that the record company used to track down actually their money. You know, it got turned into a competition.
I just want to know why you decided to collaborate with Lil B, who I feel is a rapper that is like ruining the future of hip hop. So.
That's not official yet.
Oh, wow.
That's not official.
That's bootleg knowledge.
Yeah. That's not official. But like, you know, for me, I always want to be able to, you know, be accessible to my peers in music. You know, no matter what they do, or no matter how whack somebody think they are, you know, how destructive somebody thinks they are, because you'll be surprised when you actually meet these people. Because what you're looking at is an image, a marketed piece to get you to look at them, and that's it. You know, there's an artist friend of mine named Mode 2, right? Mode 2 does like graffiti, but kind of like fine art, a lot of naked pictures and stuff like that. But you know, it is what it is. It's art. And one thing he did, he'll go and do things like this, but for artists. And he's pretty famous in the art world. And so what he'll get is people coming with their art books, and they'll be like, yo, could you sign my book? And you know, they'll sign it and then they'll leave, because all they really care about is getting his signature, getting his image. They don't care what he has to say. It's all about just that image. So what he does is he doesn't do autographs unless you talk to him for 30 minutes. So people will come with their art books and they want to sign, and there'll be a crowd of people, and he'll just sit there and he'll put his hands in his pocket, and he'll just have a conversation for 30 minutes about art. And the people will peel off so fast. It'll like, and by the end of the day, he's probably signed like 2 autographs, because those are the people who actually wanted to see him for what he was. He brought them into his world, you know? And it's rare for an artist to want to do that. So, but not for other artists. You know, I'll sit down and talk. I was on a plane with Puffy last night. So it's like, there's a different level of interaction. So I know Lil B on a deeper level than you do, you know? And for me, I'm looking at it like, this is a young budding dude coming up, young guy, coming up, making his way, you know, trying to be the best person that he can be, because he'll say that, he'll say some, I've heard Lil B say ridiculous things, right? But then he'll turn around and he'll be like, look, I'm a young black entrepreneur trying to make something out of nothing. You know, and anybody that's trying to make something out of nothing, you know, I rock with that, you know, so I support him. And just know if we do songs, it ain't gonna be what, you know, when people get on songs with me, they know they gotta come with a certain level of, you know, education about themselves.
So I was just wondering if you had any steps in mind, specifically in regard to hip-hop and the future of hip-hop, as to ways to maybe control the problems of counter-hegemony and racial commodification, and these kinds of problems.
I think that, you know, when I talk about the organic intellectual, a lot of people, and in our Nas book, there's a chapter on Nas as an organic intellectual. A lot of people think you're overreaching. They don't think that when the Oxford professor of poetry writes a book on Bob Dylan. Nobody even questions that. They don't think that's a problem, right? Oxford professor of poetry writing a book on Bob Dylan. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind, right? And deconstructing Dylan-esque poetry, right? And conceited as poetry. But, you know, if I was then at Penn and then now at Georgetown, before that at a few other highly regarded schools, if we write books on hip-hop, well, why, my God, you're trying to stretch it. They didn't mean that. Bob Dylan meant it. Keith Richards meant it. Even Axl Rose meant it.
So we're always under a system of control. You know, as long as we participate in the system, we're always going to be controlled by the people who run the system and own the system.
I really think the war on terror is a
and create
bunch of
those
bullshit.
industries and block people out.
Just another excuse for you to use up all your bullets. How much money does it take to really make a full clip? If Building 7 wasn't threatened, why'd you have to pull it? And a bunch of other cover-ups. Your child's future was the first to go with budget cuts. Think that really hurts? Well, wait, here comes the uppercut. The school was garbage in the first place. That's on the up and up. Every time I look around, I see a bunch of what the fucks. Blabbering about so-and-so. Talking about such and such. And that ain't Jersey Shore. Homie, that's the news. These the same people supposed to be telling us the truth. Limbaugh is a racist. Glenn Beck is a racist. Gaza Strip was getting bombed. Obama didn't say shit. That's why I ain't vote for him. Next one either. I'm a part of the problem. My problem is I'm peaceful. And I believe in the people.